Hello Year 3 and welcome to another exciting day of reading with Robin Hood. We're on chapter 4 and it's about Richard Malbeat, that big broad beggar who Robin Hood encountered and the recruits came across as well. Our learning objective will be to explore how the author uses language to change atmosphere of a setting. Interesting. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I would like you to pause the video and do your date at the top of your page or the next space, and then write down that learning objective, underline them, and then you can unpause the video and then we'll have a look at our recap of yesterday. And we'll have a look at that in 3, 2, 1. Okay, here are our questions. So try and come up with an answer for each one of these questions. Write them in your book and then we'll check our answers together. So it says, how did the beggar escape from the young recruits? What was the beggar's name? And what is parchment? And that final one is our define question. What is parchment? Have a go at the definition. Okay, when you're ready to check your answers, unpause the video and then I'll show you what I wrote. In 3, 2, I've done it already. Okay, hopefully you paused the video. Let's have a look at this here. So I put, he blinded them for a moment with oatmeal. Do you remember he fumbled in his bag? Because he said he had a message for Robin Hood. And then he poured out a shower of oatmeal into the faces of the young recruits. Then he grabbed his staff, which is his long stick, and started swinging, and the young recruits had to run away because they knew that without weapons, they couldn't possibly fight Richard Malbeat. And that is the answer to our second question, because the beggar's name was Richard Malbeat. What is parchment? Well, parchment is strong, tough paper that you can use for writing. So when you see scrolls, it's usually a scroll of parchment. Okay, well done if you got those. If you want to add anything from my answers as well, then you can too. Let's move on to the vocabulary for today's reading. Let's have a look. We've got the word justices. Now, a justice is like a judge. So they're called justices because they're supposed to keep justice and law and order in the shire or the town or the village. So they're justices of the peace. So justices, they're like judges, people who uphold the rules of the law, okay? The rule of law. The next word is cunning, and cunning means skillful and clever, but in a sneaky way. Very cunning plan by Gisborne. Murmurs. That is a low, continuous background noise that's made by people, okay? So if you hear murmurs, then it's that low noise in the background. It's not silent. A Norman. Now, Norman is a person who is from, their family history takes you back to a place called Normandy in France, which is where the Normans came from. And the Normans were in England for, more than 100 years before the stories about Robin Hood started. Sternly. If you talk sternly, you're talking in a very serious manner. You're talking sternly. Okay? Wanted. Now, in this case, in this next section, if you're wanted, it means you're wanted by the law for maybe doing something wrong. So outlaws are wanted to pay for their crimes by the sheriff. And finally, eagerly. If you do something eagerly, you're really keen to do it. You've got a lot of energy. You're eager to want to do something. Okay, those are our words for today's reading. What are we going to do with them? Well, we're going to try using at least 3 of those words in a sentence about Robin Hood. So I want you to choose any 3 of those words before we start today's reading, and then try and do 3 different sentences, remembering your capital letters and remembering your full stop and other punctuation that you need. I want to see some great imaginative sentences which have Robin Hood in them as well. So make 3 different sentences using any 3 of those words and put Robin Hood in there. Okay, once you've done that, you can unpause the video. So pause the video now, and then when you're ready to continue the story, then unpause the video, because we're going to have a look at the next pages in 3, 2, 1, now. Turn to page 26. And I'm going to turn to page before that because we've got an unfinished sentence to start there. It says, I'm going to start reading the beginning of the letter and then you can carry on there. To the worshipful High Sheriff of Nottingham, greetings. This is to introduce to you Richard Malbeat. He is commended to us by my friend Sir Eisenbart de Belem, Lord of Rangby, for whom he has performed various desperate tasks. He is a bold and cunning man, and will lead the work for us of which we spoke. He knows of others to assist him, and now needs the gold to pay them. Destroy this letter. Malbeat is wanted by the king's justices, and there must be no proof that we have had dealings with him. There were angry murmurs from the outlaws as Robin finished reading. Malbeat, said John. What a strange sounding name. It's not one that I've heard. It's Norman French, said Friar Tuck. He seems to be well named, for it means evil beast. One we must be rid of, said Robin sternly. Ralph and I could go and bring him to you, said Michael eagerly. We have a score to settle, and will not be tricked again. The outlaws laughed at Michael's eagerness. They remembered how the 2 young outlaws had arrived covered in oatmeal. No, lads, said Robin gently. It's more than that. I think if we can get rid of Malbeat, now that we have this letter, their whole plan will crumble. But it will serve King Richard's cause and our own if it is done lawfully. It is too dark to find him now. He is, by all accounts, a cunning as well as an evil rogue. Perhaps he'll go back to Gisborne for another letter, said Much. He would not dare, said Robin. Then he would have to admit that the first letter had been taken from him. No, the beast has gone to ground somewhere to make his plans, which gives us time to make ours. He thought for a moment, and then with his hand to his mouth, gave the gentle call of a roosting pigeon. And I would do that if I could, but he made a bird song, so clearly he's going to call someone. Let's find out what happens next. But before we do, we've got some questions. So we've got 4 questions here. What does Friar Tuck tell us about Richard Malbeat? What is the author trying to tell us about Richard Malbeat? Robin thinks Malbeat will go to Gisborne to find another letter. True or false? Why? And how does the author use language to change the atmosphere of the setting? Which again is part of our learning objective. So if you give those 4 questions a try in your books, and then unpause when you're ready to check the answers that I've given, that maybe you can add to your answers, that would be great. So pause the video now, give those a try, and then unpause when you're ready to continue. And we will continue in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Friar Tuck tells us that Malbeat has a Norman French name, and it's translated, it means evil beast in English. So the author is trying to tell us, and it says in the letter, that he is an evil and cunning rogue. Oh, no, it doesn't. It said that when Robin said that. It said he was bold and cunning in the letter. Does Robin think that he'll go back to Gisborne for another letter? No, he doesn't. It's false. Robin says he would not dare to admit that the first letter had been taken from him. And then finally, this is how the author uses language to change atmosphere in a setting. He's got angry murmurs. So obviously, people's attitudes and mood at the camp have changed once they've heard this letter, and his men are looking for an answer from him about what to do next, because it's a very tense situation and one that they have to be very careful of Malbit. Okay, he's referred to as a beast and a rogue as well by the author, so that shows that he must be a threat in some way. Okay, well done if you've got anything like those. If you've not, then feel free to add any bits that you want as well, but I'm sure that you've done a great job. It's a good book, isn't it? Let's see what we're going to do next. We have a challenge. We can write a letter as Richard Malbit. So imagine you are Richard Malbit, okay? You are the cunning, broad, but evil beast. And you are addressing a letter to the Sheriff of Nottingham, explaining what has happened to you so far, okay? So imagine you're hiding somewhere, and you're writing a letter back to the Sheriff in Gisborne just to let them know what's happened. And you have to write it in the first person, as if you are Richard Malbit. Then under that, you could even draw a map of Robin's camp under that letter. Okay, I can't wait to look at what that looks like. Good luck with that challenge. Once you finish that, unpause the video and then we'll continue, because we'll continue in 3, 2, 1. Okay, next time, let's make a prediction about what will happen next, because we're going to continue our adventure next time, and then we can see whether your prediction is true, has come true. So what do you think will happen next? I think that, and then write whatever you want. Have a think about these as well. So which king does Robin mention on page 27? Does he want to help the king? And what does he want to do to Malbit? Okay, there is a king mentioned on page 27, and I'm pretty sure that we've already mentioned him in our history topic back in week 2. So let's see if he wants to help him, if they're friends or they're enemies, and what he wants to do with Malbit. Let's see if your prediction comes true as well, and as we read on tomorrow with more Robin Hood. So well done again today, guys. Great work, and pick up the next video tomorrow to find out what happens next with Robin Hood.